Hello, hello, hello. Today is Friday. Yes, it's Friday. Welcome to Unbreakable Life with Glory, the bilingual podcast where we talk about depression, anxiety, PTSD in natural way, in a holistic way to always make you feel better. And this is Gloria Goldberg, the founder and the creator of this beautiful podcast. Hello, everybody. Long time. I it was the last time I did a Spanish one. It was like I think a English one. I think it was like 2 weeks ago or more. And I know I get requests a lot of the times for me to come and speak in English, and that's one of my goals next year to talk more in English because I talk a lot in Spanish. And the curiosity of this that when I start my podcast or my podcasting, I start only in English, and I said that's the only way the only way I'm gonna start about my podcast talking in English, and then uh, something happened and I started doing more podcasting in Spanish. So, because I go with the flow of life, I will go in any direction that life threw me. If I have to do a lot of podcasting in English, I'm going to do it. And if I have to do a lot of podcasting in Espanol, I also going to do it. But next year, I'm going to try to come more often in English because they are requesting me a lot about that. And I work for you guys. I try to do my best in trying to bring this mission uh, for everybody. And I when I we talk about depression and anxiety, I if I speak two language and I'm bilingual, I I should be talking in the two language more often. And that's my promise for next year. So for the people just starting to know me, to to be part of my journey, because I don't like to call followers, that you guys are part of my journey. Why I create this podcast? I create this podcast because I being a victim of a kidnap situation. I was held in captivity in the dark for 90 days when I was 25 years old. And today I am 50. And my podcast was one of my tools for me to be able to heal a lot of my traumas. And I said to myself, you know what? I want to expose everything that happens to me in a way, in positive way, so people can see that all of us, we have the power to transform and to be able to overcome traumas. And that's been my mission, to come here and talk about this depression, anxiety, and PTSD that is very taboo subject, and it's time to talk about it. And also I bring a lot of guests. For me, they are my masters because every single guest that comes into my show, they always leave something like a tool for you to feel better. And that's my only mission. The only thing I can promise you, that I want for you to feel better. I cannot guarantee that, but I want to promise you for you to feel better. And today I have a very beautiful subject and topic that we're going to talk about: breakups. And I know a lot of people right now, they're going through a lot of breakups and divorces, separation, breakup with the boyfriend and girlfriend. And yes, we know that after a breakup, a lot of people go through a lot, but also we don't talk about what we go through. And today, my guest is beautiful because she sings and she's a writer, and she's been passionate about her career in singing and writing six years old. And what I love about her is like when all her songs that she already write is come from her journey, from her all the things that happens to her. And she's very young, and she said, I want to be a singer, I want to be a writer. And she's been like going through a lot of periods in her life, trying and trying and trying until she said, you know what? I'm going to focus. I'm really going to focus on what I want, and I'm going to achieve it. And one of the things that her father said to her, because I know her, because we did another podcast with her in Hot Topics, something that I is still stuck in my head, that her father said to her, that if she want to achieve this dream that she had for a long time, it was the discipline. And she said, yes, I'm gonna do it. And amazed me because she's doing well. A lot of people start to know her, and she have two songs. One song, the name is Me Duele, in translated in English is hurt. And and we're gonna talk about the album Roxanne, that is the antagonist of her. And I'm so thrilled to bring her here today because she's young. It's a young generation, and she been already to very rough and very deep breakups, and also me too. So we're gonna talk about how she feel after she feel it when she went through the breakup, and also I'm gonna tell a little bit about how I feel after a breakup. So let's bring her in right now, and her name is Sofia Thompson. Let's welcome her to Unbreakable Life with Glory, the bilingual podcast. Hi, Sophia.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here and to be talking to you for a second time.
Yes, I'm so happy and honored to have you tonight because my passion is this podcast. You know that I reach to people that have depression, anxiety, and PTSD.
Yeah.
Like I know all those three subjects, and I know you also know about that, and that's why you're a singer and a writer. But before we go into deep conversation, I want you to tell everybody, who is Sophia Thompson?
Well, hi everyone that's watching this. I am Sofia. I am a singer-songwriter from Mexico City. I am 25 years old, and well, basically, I started singing since I was very little, like you said, and art has always been in like my path. And I started writing songs when I was like 16, 17 years old, and that's when I knew like not only I wanted to sing, but I wanted to like write my own stories in my songs and then share them with the world. So yeah, um I've basically been doing like art for so long that I just like I'm so passionate about it, and I'm so happy that I have the chance to be able to do the things that I love.
I love that your perseverance, that you, when you want something and you there's really your passion, you do anything. You do anything means in a good way. You do what you need to do. You study what you need to do. You compromise yourself and get into a discipline to get you to your goal.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like this career, um I realized years ago that if I wanted to achieve the things that I want to achieve right now and that I'm achieving right now, discipline and resistance was like two of the things that I had to like work on them the most. And I would say that is, I don't want to say difficult because I don't like the word difficult, but I would say that, you know,
Challenge,
yeah,
challenge.
it's definitely a challenge, and it's definitely a career where you have to do so much like inner work and just this like self love and work on the confidence and just believing that that you can do this. So that's I've been working on that, and I feel like I'm gonna be working on that self love for a very long time.
Right. So, Sophia, we're going to talk about one of the songs that you write that is very, very deep. The name is Me Duele. For translated is It Hurts. It hurts. Why do you write this song? What happened in your life?
Well, So Me Duele is part of my EP called Roxanne. And we're gonna talk about Roxanne later, but Roxanne
Yes.
is a journey about um this like breakup and self-love and like getting to your higher version of yourself. So Me Duele, it's very interesting because I wrote Me Duele like I would say like 3 years ago with a friend of mine that is very talented. He's a Colombian producer and songwriter. Um, and I wrote Me Duele because I wanted to like express how does it feel when you just like I mean, yeah, it's like it was just like that genuine feeling about not wanting someone that you love to be gone and to be out of your life. Me duele, one of the first verses of Me duele is called Me dijeron que no dolerá. The translation is they told me this wasn't going to hurt. You know, it's like we always hear so many things about people saying like how you're gonna get through a breakup, and then Me duele for me was like I just want to say exactly how I felt in that moment. And yeah, it's basically like there are a lot of metaphors in the chorus. It says like me duele and llueve. Llueve, it means rain, so it's like drops raining out of my eyes, so it means like tears. So it's a really deep song, and it's a really yeah, like personal song, but at the same time I wanted to do something with the production of the song. I wanted to like be able to tell a really deep song and really deep lyrics, but at the same time I didn't want to be the production like I didn't want to make a ballad and just a piano song. I wanted to have something different, something like a little more with more rhythm. And yeah, so I feel like it has the perfect contrast of being something sad that I'm saying and then being able to dance a little bit to the song. So I like in my songs I like to have those contrasts.
So, what do you think a breakup hurt so much?
Oh my god. Yeah. So that's a very deep question. I would say that I've only been through two really hard breakups in my life because I've had two serious relationships in which I've been in love, like for real, like in love and really invested my energy and my time. And one of the things that I'm gonna say is that I don't think anyone prepares you for love. I don't think anyone um, can actually teaches us what is to be in love and what means to be fully committed to one person. I feel like in this life and in this life that I get to live in this planet, love is a very mysterious and curious thing because I feel like nowadays and in this planet, like I don't feel like in relationships, love itself and the connection itself and the chemistry itself is enough. For us as human beings, I feel like when you are in a relationship, there are so many things that you have to notice about for the relationship to work. And what I'm saying is that you have to rely on trust and communication and growth and so many things that you need to work on a relationship for it to be able to like function. So I would say that for me in my experience, one of the hardest things for me to like when I had this both like these two breakups was to realize that in that moment love just wasn't enough and I was really connected to them, but what I needed was something else, right? And for example, in one of the relationships that I ended, I felt so connected to that person, and I felt like in this other dimension we could totally be together if we didn't have like this rational mind. But in this planet, like in this floor, I realized that I needed so much more to feel um safe, right? So
Right.
I felt like I can be so in love with you, but if I don't have like these things, like I don't know how to say it in English. It's called responsabilidad afectiva.
Affective
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like effective responsibility. And and for me, love has been a journey of knowing um my love language and what I need for me to be like feel safe in a relationship. I feel like I'm a woman that needs words. I need like people to tell me how they feel, and that's one of my love languages. And when I realized that, I understand so many things, and I understood so many things about love and about how I wanted to be in a relationship. And yeah, so I feel like, to get back to your question, one of the things that hurt me the most in the times of breakups is that, to realize that the universe just like pulled them out of my life in a good way, but it was so hurtful, but in a good way. And after months of healing, I realized that I wasn't gonna be able to be my higher self and the best version of myself being in that relationship. So it's just like it's a bittersweet situation, because it's like I know I'm not supposed to be here, and I know um, you probably um, not the best thing for me right now, or not the right thing for me. I want to be with you, but at the same time I know that it's not making me feel the way that like the best version of myself that I know I can be. So it's very hard to like assimilate and to digest that information, that it's like you can love someone, and then also the cliche of you can love someone and also decide to let them go, because you know that there's so much more for you, and there's going to be so much more connections that could actually be in your frequency, you know.
Well, they said that when you really love someone is when you let it go, let it go, because first you loving yourself, and then you loving the other person to be, because when we start a relationship with someone, we have like the first 6 months to a year, we think like the promises, and we feel that connection that is gonna last forever. And then when that connection disappears, means, I'm not saying that disappear the connection, but all the promise and then the person that you saw in the beginning is not anymore, because it comes the real person into reality.
Yeah.
Then you ask the question, what happened here? That this person was like this way, why this person changes? Because the first time, the first 6 months to a year, the person is kind of in love, or they have the oxytocin, and like they think that person is forever. And that happens to me. I'm 50, I'm double like your age. And I just finished also my relationship like a year ago, and it was terrible for me. And people sometimes think that because young generation or older generation, like older generation, we have a figure it out. That's not true. We also have breakups, and also hurts a lot of times that we go through relationships. And sometimes we, older generation, we are more strict to ourselves, because supposedly we know a lot of our lives, and you said, why I'm doing the same thing over and over and over, and when I'm gonna learn. And when you are young, you are like, okay, I'm breaking up, but you think that you don't know that you think that you're breaking up because you don't know how to deal with the relationship.
Yeah.
And it's not true. It's the same for a young to older person. What do you think about that?
I feel like you are totally right. I don't feel like there's an age to be completely either mature about love, or, as I said, like nobody prepares us for love. So I don't
No.
yeah, so I don't feel like, honestly, I feel like love itself and love relationships are in like this tool to learn so much about yourself. And I also feel, and what I've learned about my past relationships is that the person that you love, it works as a mirror, and it works as, you know for me, in my experience, I've learned so much about myself just looking at the other person. Sometimes I was like, you know, I don't like this thing about this person that I love. And then I was like, well, you too have that thing. And you're probably there because you need to work on that, and you need to realize that that thing that you don't like so much about that person is something that you have to work on yourself. And I,
And you know why that happened. Do you know why? It's because do
yeah.
you know why? Do you know why?
Well, I feel, well, you're talking about the mirror thing.
Yes. Like
Um,
why is when you don't like something about the other person, is you that you need to work on that. Why you think that happens?
um, well, I think that it might be because I see this as a reflection of, like, it may be a reflection of yourself.
And
It
it's
all, yeah,
yeah, and it's because you know it.
yeah,
Because you know it, you know it. If you don't know it, you don't see it. But when when you know it, you see it.
for sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah, the things that I like, I could tell you so many things that I've learned about myself. And now that you're talking about the age thing, for me, as an like, I can tell you something. When I had my first boyfriend and my first serious relationship when I was very young. I was a teenager and I was like 16 years old. So we can all relate to that first love when you just like let yourself go and you just I remember that time. I was just like accepting so many things that I knew that they like, I wasn't supposed to accept them, but I was just like, maybe this is how love is supposed to be, right? For me, it was
Right.
like, I don't like how this feels. I don't like the jealousy that like he's printing on this relationship, but I don't mind because it's probably how love has to be, right? So I was so naive about so many things. And then, I got over that relationship and it was a very toxic relationship, a very passionate one, but a very toxic one where I learned so much. And after that breakup, which was a very hard one for me because it was my first breakup, and I like everyone, but I felt like I'm never gonna find someone that loves me the way he loved me. And then right now, I'm seriously laughing about that because I was so hurt in that moment that I was like, how can I think that I was never gonna get over it, like with it? And right now, it's funny because you know. I'm not usually the type of person that goes from a relationship to another one. Like for me, in my experience, I just like a few years passed between one and another one because I needed that
Yes.
for myself. So after the first relationship, I grew so much and I turned into this whole different person. Like for me, I was just like this naive girl that was experimenting love for the first time and that was just like accepting so many toxic things that I knew that wasn't for me, but I had to just like learn from it. And then I broke up and it was very hard. And then like, I started this more spiritual awakening path for me. And then I was like, okay, so in my next relationship, I'm going to be like, now I know everything, for me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, it was like, yeah, nah, I know everything. Like my first relationship was so hard, and I got over it. So now it's gonna be easier. And so the thing is funny because my past like the next relationship was my past, like the last one, because I've only been in two relationships. So it was definitely like a whole different thing from my first relationship. It was like this much healthier relationship. It wasn't toxic at all, and the man that I was with was totally different from my first boyfriend, and was totally something that I was looking for right now, and that's better for my soul and for my heart and everything. But when I broke up, I was like, it's still very difficult, right? And I have still have so many things to learn, and I was like, so not, I don't think from an ego, but I was like, if I got out of this and if I just learned so many things from my relationship, what's there more to learn? And then I got out of this one and I was like, I don't think you're ever going to stop learning. And that's the thing. When you say the thing about ages, I don't think like ages and years comes to this situation of love. I don't think that matters. I just feel like I look at it as human connections, and then someone is in your frequency and or maybe you're recognizing like an old soul, and you have like a karmatica, like a karma relationship that
Karma.
you have to solve in this life. But I don't see like ages or like I don't think that matters. I just feel like now I understand that relationships are moments when you get to connect to a person and then mirror yourself and learn yourself and grow. And then if the universe allows you, or your personal growth allows you, or you are in the same frequency through the years, then you are going to be able to continue. But for me, in my experience, what I've lived is that um, at some point we are in a frequency where we can totally connect to each other, and then there comes a time, like when, like, yeah, like life itself, and I realized that, yeah, this is not for me, and then you have to get out of it. So yeah, I feel like it's very different for all of us.
Yes, I'm 50. I've been in through many relationships, but the one that was the hurt, like when I hear your song "Me Duele," I
You're
recognize that song and that relationship. It was the last one, and the last one, the very curiosity that now we're talking about, it was the most toxic one.
okay.
The most toxic one, it was more the hurt, more difficult for me to let go, and I still today trying to overcome that. And it's been already a year, and you think sometimes like, oh, you break up, like I don't go right away to another relationship, because and then I'm being already poisoned, like already toxic, and then I'm gonna go to another relationship like with the same vibe. No, I need to cut that. But I feel that we get more attached to relationships that are more toxic, and that comes from when you was younger. Like me, in my case, I saw growing up my father and my mother in very toxic environment. So you learn from that, and you think that's your safe place, and that's why you get to attach to relationships like that. And and go back to other relationship that was not toxic, and I lived, and I let them go, and I said, why I didn't stay with them, why I choose the more toxic one, and I get too attached to the toxic one. And
Yeah.
I said, no, this cannot continue anymore, and that's why I decide to be couple years, for the couple years by myself,
Yeah.
rebuilding myself, and disintoxicating whatever I produce to be toxic, because it's not him, it's not me, it's both.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people get attached to a toxic relationship is because what we saw when we growing up, and
Yeah.
we think that's the right way to be.
Yeah. So you're right. So I feel like one of the hardest things for me and for us as humans is to um yeah, to the, the realization of that a lot of things comes from our childhood and how we grew
Yes.
up and how, well, like for me it's like I feel like we all in an unconscious way or consciously, it depends, we search for the love that we saw in our
Yes.
childhood, right?
Yes.
So, um, one of the things that I learned the most when I got out of my past relationship, the last one, I was in a very low point of my life where I was just like, um, besides the part that hurts. I mean, it's always like it's always gonna hurt if you let someone that you love go, right? But one of the things that hurt me the most is that why am I um why am I looking for this type of men in my life,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yes.
why am I looking for someone that is probably emotionally unavailable? Or why am I looking for someone that it's not on touch with his emotions, or like maybe it's not working on himself or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna go to therapy and I'm gonna try to find out like what's happening. So the next relationship that I'm in, I'm gonna try to look like way more like in a bigger picture, and I'm gonna try to like observe, like why am I relating to this person and why am I falling in love with this person. And in therapy, I can tell you so many things that I've learned. One of the first things that I've learned is that I'm going to be totally honest on this like talk, because I like to be real. So when I was very little, I had like this negative conversation about that. um I felt like in there were a few years where I thought that that I'm sorry, that my dad um had like so much more love for my sister than I. And it was something I had to work so much on, because of course it wasn't true. But for me at that age, I was like 8 or 9 years old, I was like, oh yeah, he loves her more than he loves me. Like I have no doubts about that. And it was so hurtful for me because I was like, I'm sure about that. And then years went by, and then I work on that, and then I right now the relationship with my dad is just so beautiful, and I know that he loves us equally. But the thing is that in that time that affected me so much, that somehow I started to follow this pattern where I found myself in a relationship where that relationship ended, and then the man, the boyfriends, because both of them, like it was a similar situationship. Um, both of the men that I was with, they ended up being with another woman, um, right away. Like it did, like not like
That
yeah.
must
So
hurt. That must hurt more.
yeah, so the thing for
Yes.
me, besides like the hurtful part for me of like I was, of course in that moment I was still in love with him. So for me, just seeing someone that I love with someone else was hurtful. But
Oh,
besides
yes.
that, yeah, but besides that, I went to therapy and I was like, I don't think I don't think it's the part. What I realized in therapy is that it's not the part of the person that because I will ever like I will always have like this love for them, because it's like you were so important for me. So I never want to like something happen to you, something bad happened to you. So it's
Yes.
like it's not about them being with someone else. For me, it was like I'm happy that you're with someone else, but
Right.
why am I putting myself in this situation? What happened in my past that or do I have a pattern that I'm following, or is there something that I'm not seeing right now that I can work on so I don't put myself in that situation again? So therapy has helped me a lot to realize that one of the things that has happened in the present comes from that feeling of just feel that my sister was like better than me, or that this masculine being that in that moment was my dad preferred the other woman than me. So unconsciously, I put myself in the same situation where I was again thinking that there was something that I was lacking, like there was something that I didn't have, that couldn't fulfill that man, and that's why he chose to be with another woman, right? So it's kind of hard, but
Yes, yes, yes. And the same thing happens to me. I'm the only woman at the house, and you have two brothers. And I also thought that my father loved them more than me. And I grew up with that. And I always remember the way he was with my mother. I hated so much. And I always said in my mind, I never gonna be with a man like that. I never gonna be with a man like that, just like that. And what happened? My masculine energy raised so high than the feminine that yes, in conscious, I was picking the same men as my father. So
totally.
what I was like looking for that, and men that they then I was able to give me the love or the attention, because I was requiring attention, because I remember, like, I see the difference with my other two brothers. So when you are in a relationship, you are like, "Hey, I'm here," like the little kid. "I'm here. I want you to call me. I want you to hug me. I want you to tell me I'm beautiful. You know that you love me so much." You look for that because I was lack on that.
Yeah,
I didn't hear my father say anything of those kind of stuff, and it took me several years to understand that. Therapy, you name it.
yeah,
And and I said last year, no más, no more. I don't need a man to love me. I need a companionship. I need a man. I want a man to come with me in a journey. I don't need him to love me. I don't need him to tell me how beautiful I am, because I know that for myself, by myself. But is I understand your point. Is like
It's it's so crazy because I feel like it takes um so much time and so much inner work, and I feel like life is not like this. It's not linear,
no,
it's like this. So as you said, maybe you can have, maybe I can right now get into a relationship which is very healthy, and then I feel like the man totally loves me and we have communication, and then we break up, and then a few years later I get it again to a toxic relationship. So I don't feel like it's a time, like, again, time, I don't feel like the years and time matters. I feel like what matters is what are you living on the inside. And one of the things that I learned in therapy and that I was telling to my therapist is that I'm so aware now. I wasn't aware of this, but now after these two relationships, I'm so aware of what I want and what I don't want. But how do I make it happen? Right.
exactly.
So for me, it's like, now I know that I don't want this type of man in my life, because I don't want a type of man that it's not going to value me for the woman that I know I am right now. And on the other hand, I know what I want and I know what I deserve, because I've been working on myself so much that I know um, that like I know that I deserve something great, and I know that I deserve the love that I can give to someone. But what I was asking my therapist was like, okay, now that I know and now that I have that information on my hands, it's like how I take it to the practice. How can I realize um, without being like blind? It's just like put the love apart and just like observe the man that I'm dating, for example, and just realize and just make a little stop and be like, am I getting to a relationship that seems a little bit like the ones that I've been in the past? Or do I feel different? Because one of the things that you said, that we unconsciously sometimes look the love that we had or we didn't have on our childhood. I feel like that is so true, and I feel like that is such an unconscious thing that we have to like unblock. And one of the things that I like, I'm so grateful, and that I'm so proud about myself, is that it doesn't matter like the point where I am. It just matters that um, I've I have the courage to open that door and to be willing to know what's happened in the past. Because I feel like right now and nowadays, um, there's so many things happening in the world in the present, and
Yes.
so many we're talking about anxiety, so we are so anxious about the future that we just refuse to look at the past. And one of the most important things about this life is to look at what has happened in our past that is making us act the way that we do in the present.
Yes.
We're looking so much at the future, and we just forget about like childhood traumas and things that we lived that we have to heal so we can change our future.
Yes, you're completely right. And to live in the present, a lot of people is like they don't know how to do it. And to go in the past, they don't want to even look at it
Yeah.
because it hurts so much. But you need to face them, because then you're gonna continue attracting the same energy, because you are not, you're not healed at all. And this is like right now, like myself, like I'm so focused that right now in my process of not being with anybody, to clean myself,
Yeah.
to build myself up and everything. And the other relationships, I attract the men like it's like a love in the first instinct, like boom, like that. So now when I go out and I see a man is coming to look at me like this, and I know that, and I turn around and say, no way, it's not.
You're like, no.
No, no, I'm not ready.
So I feel, yeah, I feel like it, and it's so important to know, because let's be honest, like it's so much easier. I'm gonna say this, but like I feel like it's so much easier to break up and then to be right away in another relationship, which I'm not judging. I'm not judging because I want to say something very important. Because I don't want to feel like I don't want to be like, yeah, if you go from a relationship to another one, it's not good. No, I don't feel like anything is good or bad.
Right.
The thing for me, in my experience, I'm gonna talk about myself, is that for me, going from one relationship to another one very in a very fast way, I feel like it doesn't. I'm not giving myself time to heal and to
Yes.
realize why things didn't work in my past relationship and what do I really want. So I feel like it may be easier. I feel like being in a relationship where you have um a man, a girl, whatever, no, but like someone telling you how pretty you are and comforting you, and then it may be and it may seem easier because you have like this support. But I feel like if you don't work on yourself, it could be also like this um not barrier, but like this sabana, like this fold.
Like a
Yeah,
blind.
like a
It's
blind.
like a blind. They put it there, and when you open, it's not real. That.
Yeah. And somehow, like for me, it's like I see this as like when you put like garbage under the bed, eventually you have to pull the bed. And you're gonna see all of the things that you put there. So I feel like that's kind of like life works. And I've realized that in such like this has been a journey. So in therapy and a lot of things, I've realized that I prefer to fully heal myself and just like to become the person that I want to be, and to be like this individual. It's very important for me to like just like feel complete by myself, right? Because one of the
Right.
things that I feel like can happen a lot is that you create this codependency with that person, that you feel like you cannot be yourself again without a person. And I feel like one of the best and like the missions of life as a human being is also just like learning that you have to feel very complete and very um in peace when you are alone. So when you get to be in a relationship, you know that everything is gonna be okay if that person goes out of your life. So I feel like
Yes.
right now I'm in that beautiful moment where I'm just I feel like I'm very healed from my past relationship, and I'm at peace with myself and with the women, like with the woman that I am right now, that I'm like, if I have the opportunity of being in a relationship, I'm not gonna say no, because I'm not being like no to love.
No.
But if nothing's coming right now, I'm fully at peace with myself right now, and with my family and with my career and with my friends.
What do you think about um like I see some women in social media, and I'm not criticizing and I'm judging, but I see some women that are saying, "I don't need a man. I'm a powerful woman. You know, I'm super happy for women just like that." But also at the same time, we should know where's our position. Like means we can have that masculine energy for our business, for our careers, and all that stuff. But for you to attract the right man, you have to have those things balanced. Because what happens when you have the masculine energy too high, you castrate the man, or the the man feels like intimidated to to come to a very strong woman. And I'm not saying that men are afraid. Some men don't like to have a woman that strong, and doesn't mean that he likes to have a woman that under him. It's not also like that. But
Yeah,
what men likes also about women is the feminine, a
yeah,
powerful woman with a lot of feminine. What
yeah,
do you think about that?
yeah. I totally agree with you. I feel like one of the best and the most powerful inner work that we have to do is it's exactly balancing that feminine, divine feminine and masculine energy. And so what you said about like powerful women, I think that's there is a thin line between being like having this organic and like this feminine energy where you can feel power and you can feel and you can know what like your value, and you can know what you deserve. Like it's a very thin line between knowing that and knowing yourself as a woman. And the other hand, you have like this, I'm so powerful that I'm gonna be controlling you as a man, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like it's a very thin line, and I feel like we just need to be aware that you can be a powerful woman, you can be a powerful human being, and just know yourself and know what you deserve, but also have like that feminine energy balanced, so you can attract the type of masculine that is for you, right?
Right. That the men also have the masculine and the energy imbalance too.
Exactly.
So both understand what is the important of the other person, and not be one over the other one, because it's not about equality, but it's about connecting. It's about integration. It's like I need you, you need me, but we know that we are together in this. And it's like I hear these women saying all this, and I said, "Wow, I was one of those.
Yeah.
I'm powerful. I can do this. I can run this, and you shut up and all that stuff." I was like that, and that's why it cost me so many relationships, because I couldn't manage my masculine energy.
Yeah.
And now I said, you know what? Mm-mm. I need to raise my feminine energy, and to the masculine energy I have, to be able to be in a relationship. Because
Yeah.
right now I'm not able to be in a relationship.
Yeah, and also I feel like it's very important just like know. And I feel like when we talk about energy, we don't like feminine energy. There are like people may think that we're talking about like the physical blood.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with that. So I don't want to get into the, that's why we have women and we have like men on this earth. It doesn't have to be with that genre as itself, like the and the sex and the how you look physically. I feel like it's something that it's more about like this energy and this cosmic balance that we have to make. And I feel like that comes from, so now that we're talking about the divine feminine, I've learned so much about like what is my purpose of being a woman right now, like in this life. And I feel like we have so much to heal as women, and it comes from so many past lives where we haven't been able to express ourselves. I think that's something that we know. That's why there is so much feminists right now, because I feel like in the past lives it's been hard for us to
Yes.
really be able to express ourselves and to really be able to elevate that feminine energy. So I'm really glad that right now things are changing, and I'm really grateful for that. I feel like we have so much more to do and to work on, but I feel like right now is so different from example my grandmother and my mother. Life is so much different from that generation. And I always talk with my mom about that. She's like, I'm so glad that you can live in a generation where women have so much more rights and the opportunity to,
And freedom.
yeah, totally.
Yeah. But always not going to the extremes, because the extremes is already at this balance. And we are women, we are creators, we have power for we are nature, we are powerful. But we are the power that we have is the love and the conditional love, because when we have a baby, when we have our kids, we the love that we have for our kids is like, you can't even describe that. So we have that power, and the power of love is the power that we need to cultivate and teach to that, that exists. That is our power, the
Yeah.
love.
And at the end of the day, now that I'm thinking about it, is that just like the creation of life is so crazy and so mystical and so beautiful, because it's very important for me to think about the balance between the masculine and the feminine, because we wouldn't have the feminine without the masculine, right?
Exactly.
It's like the yin and the yang. So for me, it's like it's not about the extreme of feminism. It's not about just putting men down. It's not about that. It's just about just realizing that we need each other in a healthy way, not in a codependency way. We need each
Mm.
other. We need each other's energy for us to fulfill. But we can do it. Like, we have to have like this mindset that we can do it in a healthy way, not in the, like, in the I need you as a I need you because if I don't have you, I'm gonna die. It's like, I need you so I can elevate myself, and then you can need me so you can elevate
Yes,
yourself, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So we almost close to be closing our show today. Sophia, tell everybody where they can find your song, when is gonna be your next concert, uh, everything about it.
Yeah, for sure. So, everyone that's listening, I invite you to follow me. I am in social media. There's my Instagram, Sofia Thompson Music. You can find my music in every platform: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you want to, basically. And yeah, so right now, I can tell you that I'm writing my new album, my first complete album that I'm gonna drop next year in 23, which I am very happy about it because it's gonna be like my first album. I'm also planning to play live, like to do live shows next year. It's what I'm investing my energy and what I'm manifesting right now. So I would say that people can be just stay tuned to my social media so I can tell them where I'm gonna be playing live. I wish I'm manifesting to play in a lot of cities here in Mexico and hopefully around the world, right? And definitely I'm gonna have my first show. I've had shows, but my first on the sale of tickets show next year, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I have a song coming the 24th of November. It's my new single, and I'm very happy about that. So yeah, I feel like
And what
that's,
is the name of that single?
well, it's the first time I'm gonna say that. It's called Dame Guerra, which
Ooh,
which means give me war. It's a song that is about um now that we're talking about love, it's about infidel how do you say infidelidades?
infidelity.
Yeah, infidelities. And it's about how a person that is cheating could have so many reasons why they're doing that, like in a deeper level.
Wow. I'm so happy that you was here today. You see how far Duele, Me Duele took us in another direction about breakups and all the stuff. But before we go, I want you to ask you for a phrase for the people who's trying to take their life away because of breakup.
Okay, that's a hard one, but I would say, I don't know if I can say it in a phrase, but I would try to like resume it.
Or something that you want to say.
Yeah. So yeah, totally. So I would say that if you could right now see me as a person that is coming from the future and as a person that has lived through the hard times of having to um, let go of someone that you love, if you can see me that's someone that's coming from the future, I would tell you that there is so much more coming your way, and there is so much love around the world that you can have right now, and that things will definitely get better. And um, there is rainbows after the storm. So I would say that, and I would also say that, um, yeah. So I would say that the universe is putting you in that situation and in that moment, so you can elevate yourself and become your higher self. So greater things can come your way, and I will promise you that once you pass that and once you break through, so many things are coming your way that are gonna make you happier and be more at peace with yourself.
Wow. What a beautiful. Thank you so much. This is beautiful. Okay, Sophia, we just got here to finish our show today. Thank you so much to be an Unbreakable Live with Glory, the bilingual podcast. And I know this is not gonna be the first time; it's gonna be many more. So we're gonna be together to discuss this amazing topics. And thank you to be here, and thank you to be part of my mission.
Thank you so much, Gloria. I always love talking to you, and I'm thankful for the space and the honesty, and yeah, I hope to be back soon. I love being in this space. Thank you so much, and
All
thank you
right.
to the people that are listening.
Thank you so much, my dear. So see you soon. Bye bye. Wow. Oh my God. I love this. I love to talk to young generations. I love to talk with young generation. And you know what? When she said that she have 25 years old, right away my mind went through when I was 25 years old. And this time of the year I was kidnapped and held in captivity in the dark. And I said, wow, like, so I already have 50, and like 25 years later, I'm doing what I'm doing. And, my passion is really, really to talk to young generations because sometimes they don't know what is love. They don't know what to do in some situations. And believe me, sometimes when we are older, there's also some situations that we don't know. So, yes, we have a lot of experience, but in some areas, but sometimes we also do a lot of mistakes, and we are not right all the time. And we also go into relationships that we should not supposed to, because in our age, and because for people probably think that 50 is like very old, but to me it's not old. But some young people think that, wow, you're 50, you are alone, you don't have anybody, or you what is wrong with you? And we come from generations that we are very hurt, and we come from childhoods very difficult. So now that is the information in internet and all the social media, you can find all the information for you to heal. Before, we don't have any of this. And when we talk about issues, traumas, depression, anxiety, PTSD, we don't talk about this in my time. It was taboo. And if you say that you have depression, they call you crazy. If you have anxiety, they call you crazy. So I'm so glad that we are able to have this kind of shows, that we are able to be expanding our knowledge, that there's a lot of people more and more talking about spirituality, about traumas, about issues, about everything, and people's coming out to tell their stories. And probably you say, oh my God, everybody's talking about the same thing. And because I hear people saying that. And you know what? Thank God we have a lot of people talking about the same thing, because it's time to wake up. It's time to realize that we do have problems. It's time to realize that we need to organize our lives, and to find out our traumas, to find out why all those things that happens to us, why we repeat some scenarios, why we choose the same men, why we choose the same women, why do I don't attract a relationship, why I'm so miserable, why I'm not, I'm not, how you call, why I'm not, why, like, always ask that question, like, why I'm not successful, for example, why I cannot have successful in a relationship, and so ask those questions, and I guarantee you can find those answers out there, but you need to find it, and you also need to want it to be able to heal all that, to be able to correct yourself, for you to have a better life. It's in my case, it's been taking me for 19 years or more to be able to talk about these subjects, to be able to be here and tell you about what happens to me, and not with the fear. And I'm not 100% healed in the fear department. I still do have a lot of fears in some areas of my life, and also I still working in my traumas. And a lot of people would say, "Oh my God, that happens to you 25 years ago, and when you gonna overcome that?" And I have a news for you. There's some issues and some traumas that are gonna stay forever. But the difference is that you already know how to navigate with them. You know how to work around them. When you have symptoms, for example, when I have symptoms that I'm getting depressed, I notice and I ask the question right away: what's going on here? Why am feeling depressed? And if sometimes it take me 1 or 2 days to be the way I want to be, I'm gonna do it because I'm purging myself. I'm reconnecting with myself. And sometimes those depressions is for you to stop what you're doing to be able to see what's going on in your life. I'm not a therapist. I'm a coach. I'm starting to be a coach. I'm a healer. And I always say I'm a professional healer because I've been healing myself all my life. And a lot of people help me in my journey, yes. But yeah, you can go to therapy. They can give you tools. But if you don't practice the tools, or you don't listen what people say to you, or you don't make the change that you need to do for you to be able to feel better, it's not going to be any change. Because people have a tendency that they think because they go to to therapy. Hey George, how are you? People think that if you go to therapy, it's just to go sit down and don't do any work. That happens to me a long time ago. I was going with someone that I was in relationship, and I was commit and he was commit to, but he was commit to go to therapy, but he was not commit to see the changes that he needs to do. And when you have a relationship with someone, you have an issues in your relationship, sometimes, or mostly time, it happens because relationships are not perfect. Relationships for you is to help you to grow and to recognize and to overcome any situation that appears in the relationship. And if both decides to go to couple therapy, or both to go to a session with a coach to be able to transform your relationship, if both are committed to go, is one part, but both have to be commit to do what they need to do to improve that relationship. And that applies to everything. You can feel that you wanted to have a very successful business, and they can give you all the money and the provisions and the people for you to do it. But if you are not commit to do it, you're not gonna do anything. You're just gonna blow the money and blow the people because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I can talk about it because I've been in every single scenario in my life. I'm 50 and I've been through a lot, and I'm here telling you the experience about things that happens. Sometimes you go in bands over, like you go through the same situation, and you feel like blind, and you say, why this thing is happening to me all the time? It's because behind that there's a lesson for you to learn, to be able to be aware of what you're doing, for you to not do it anymore again. And it's a beautiful process. Like Sofia said, life is not a linear. Life is up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. 2 days ago, I was feeling, 2 days ago, no, yesterday, yeah, before yesterday, I was feeling down. And I know why I was feeling down. And what happened? I didn't do social media. I just told you in the morning how I feel. And I show you guys that I was doing my hair. And then I didn't do anything else because I was going through my emotions, going through what's going on. And today I'm here in the present doing my show. It's not Fridays, it's usually always Wednesdays. But I go with the flow. And I say, you know what? I'm not gonna put a day for my show. Yes, it's always Wednesdays, but if someone wants to come in and be in my show and talk about depression, anxiety, and PTSD, or talk about relationships, or talk about the subject that we talk about today, I'm always gonna be open to talk about and always to be here to do my mission because my only mission is to help you to feel better. And that's it. All right. So thank you so much to be here in Unbreakable Life with Glory, the bilingual podcast. Please subscribe, like, and share because that's the way I'll be able to grow and bring all this information. And something that I did today very differently is to talk more slower and to be more confident to be able to talk here because before I was doing my podcast with a lot of anxiety and always thinking in my head if I'm doing it right, if I'm saying the right thing, if I'm doing the right thing. And while I was talking, I was thinking uh, what I was doing. And today, it was my very first time I did this show in a very calm way, not feeling fear of what I was going to say, feeling less anxious, and also talking more slower, and also staying a little bit more longer. And I know could be a longer episode, but I had it to say today that this is the way I overcome stuff. And sometimes you guys can see me as a very strong woman or powerful or a woman that can go far and can conquer everything. And yes, I can do all of that. But I also want to remind you that I'm human. And also remind you that I make mistakes. And I also want to remind you that not all the time my show is perfect or my language is perfect or everything I said here is the right way. I always say I is nothing bad or good or nothing black white or black. Always get the best thing that you think is right for you. Don't believe what everybody say to you. Just go what you feel inside of you. And like I said before, this show for me is part of my healing, it's part of my journey. And I'm so glad to be able to be here and talk in a very calm way and be able to say that to always remember that I'm a human, that at least I'm here doing something and overcoming my fears and overcoming my all my issues that I have because of trauma. That that trauma, my kidnap situation, is being one of the lessons, one of the biggest lessons I ever have in my life, but one of the lessons that I learned the most. And the only thing I have here to say is thank you so much and see you soon. And thank you to be on Unbreakable Life with Glory, the bilingual podcast where we talk about depression, anxiety, and PTSD in a holistic way, a natural way to always make you feel better. And my name is Gloria Goldberg. See you soon. And before I go, like I always say, I love you all and see you next time. Ciao, ciao.